Central Minnesota Sports Hub. It's the Morning Sports Desk, presented by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts, and streaming on YouTube.
It is the Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. I'm CJ Baumgartner. That's Corey Tackman. It's a Friday, the 7th of March, and we get things rolling with some more high school sports playoff action. Corey, you were in Pine River yesterday for a little boys basketball matchup in 5A. Just give us the lowdown. What happened?
Well, first of all, I love that gym at Pine River-Backus. It is like, it's an old school gym, but not old school in the sense that it's like, I mean, maybe they've been playing in there since the 60s. I don't know. But it's like early 90s old school, right? Like the free throw circles or basketballs, and Pine River-Backus on the baseline has tiger stripes on it. And it's very angular and sharp and loud. It's like the what is probably your favorite Minnesota Timberwolves jersey, right? Like that, all the lettering on those Timberwolves jerseys look like Timberwolf teeth and fangs, right? Like home of the Tigers is written just kind of very, like it screams rawr. And it's just cool seating on one side, and it's fun to be in that gym. It's been a long time since I've been over there, so it was cool to see. This game was pretty much all Pine River-Backus. There's I don't think the breakdown of this one is pretty simple. Pine River-Backus, I don't know if they led from the jump, but they pretty much led from the jump. 75-62 was the final score. They beat Verndale. With the win, they'll take on Nevis, who knocked off Long Prairie Gray Eagle last night. Two highlights come from two players in last night's game. One was right out of the second half. Pine River-Backus started on a quick, like 4-0 run. Like Verndale started with the basketball, turnover, layup, turnover. Tate Norman steals the ball, and he's got the court to himself. No heights listed in the program, but he had to have been, he's like a 6'4", 6'5" guard, lanky, good leaper, two-handed flush on the other end, which of course gets everybody going like crazy. Then Tate involved again later in the second half. I don't remember at the time frame what point of the game that had happened, but Verndale turned the ball over, loose ball up the floor. Tate Norman picks it up, throws it up ahead to his teammate, 2-on-1, Grady Mongan. And you could see, I don't know exactly what he said, but the angle from where I was sitting, you could hear Tate yelling to Grady, like, up or oop or whatever it was, backboard, whatever it was. Mongan throws it up off the glass for the two-handed alley-oop flush, and it was the coolest. It's one of the coolest high school dunks I've ever seen in my entire life.
Awesome.
So all Pine River-Backus in that one, they come away with the victory, keep their season alive. Verndale's season comes to a close, obviously, and that's kind of where we stand on our Section 5A update.
Yeah, and moving over to Section 8AA, Wadena Deer Creek made the drive way up to Warroad yesterday in the 5-12 matchup there, and Warroad hosting, again, as we talked about yesterday, the southmost team in 8AA playing the northmost team in 8AA. And in the first half, Wadena Deer Creek did a good job holding serve, didn't quite get the shots they wanted to fall, but still were able to hang around. And a late run by Warroad gave them a 10-point lead at halftime. And the half was either going to go one of two ways. Either Wadena Deer Creek was going to get that shot going, and then they were going to make a little run and keep it interesting all throughout, or Warroad was going to just kind of flex the offensive muscle that they had, because they're a team that averages 78 points a game, and they were able to get a big win last night, and they kind of took over, Corey, right away in that second half. They just got after it. Not only do they have the good outside shooting, but they also just play really good. They play physical man-to-man defense, and that's really what gave them some turnovers, gave them some kind of big stoppages at the end of the first half to give them the momentum going into the locker room. And then you start the second half on a 40-15 run for Warroad, and that pretty much sealed the deal. and Wadena Deer Creek season comes to a close. They fall to Warroad 76-44. Congrats to the Wadena Deer Creek team on a great season. They come to a close there. By the way, mentioned by Coach Thunberg to me in our Wolverines weekly interview that's going to air tomorrow. Kobe Snyder had surpassed 600 points this season. That is a Wadena Deer Creek school record for points scored in a season.
Single season. Wow, that's a lot of points. That's a lot of points. Good job, Kobe. He's awesome.
Yeah, he's great. Really had a chance to kind of hit his stride offensively this year. Not that he was put in the back burner, but you had two other 1,000-point scorers, one of whom was the all-time leading scorer at Wadena Deer Creek and Peyton Church. So it was just kind of a victim of circumstance there a little bit. But yeah, he still made the most of it to get over the 1,000-point threshold and then over 600.
Well, and he started playing varsity because of his offensive ability. Mm-hmm. I remember watching him in some JV games, and he was just the reason he got the call up to the varsity early, I think, as a freshman, was because of what he was doing in those JV games offensively and in big moments. And he was not a big guy. I think probably between his freshman and sophomore year, I bet he grew 6 inches. I mean, he's like a tall, sturdy dude now. And he wasn't always that. And I think some of that athleticism came along with it. And like you said, a victim of circumstance and having some really nice scores in front of him just meant that all of a sudden, hey, look at this. We've got a guy who can be our defender now. You know, you think about some of the other stuff that he does, you know, his spring sports are right around the corner. And you're talking about a kid in baseball who, you put him anywhere up the middle and, you know, he can catch, he can play short, he can pitch, he can play center field. He's like that. He's one of those athletes. So the chance for him to shine, even though the season maybe as a team, because it is a team sport, didn't go the way he wanted to. It's cool that he was able to showcase some of those skills for folks again.
Yeah, exactly. So congratulations to him. Congratulations to the Wolverines. Their season comes to a close. Warroad is playing Pelican Rapids on Saturday, 7:00 tip-off. They beat Monaga yesterday as well. So the Brave season comes to a close. Pretty much, Corey, the only two teams in our listening area for boys basketball that are still active are the Staples-Motley Cardinals and the Henning Hornets. Now, Staples-Motley is going a long ways. They're going to be putting some miles on the old bus tomorrow. And heck, so are you on our station Jeep. So why don't you just tell the good folks at home where you're going to cover Staples-Motley boys basketball tomorrow?
Yeah, me and Jeep Whitley are going to head to beautiful Hermantown, Minnesota, to watch the 6-seeded Staples-Motley Cardinals take on the 3-seeded Barnum and Bailey's. What's their nickname? The Bombers? The Bombers. That is Section 7AA boys buckets. Barnum beat Mesabi East 87-56 in the opening round action. Staples-Motley beat Greenway 65-49 to set up this game. They're actually game 4 of 4 at Hermantown High School. Top-seeded Esco will play Pillager at 11. 4-seeded Piers will play the 5-seed Moose Lake Willow River at 12:30. 2-seed Pequot Lakes will play the 7-seed Marshall at 4. And then we mentioned Barnum and Staples-Motley playing the, I guess what would be called the nightcap in that one. Barnum is 19-8 overall, a QRF rating of 95.3. They're ranked 49th in Class 2A boys basketball. Staples-Motley has a QRF of 93.9. They're ranked 52nd. So if you believe in the QRF, we're talking about less than 2 full points rating-wise and 3 spots different in the rankings, according to the QRF. This eyes up to be a dynamic boys basketball game to close out that 7AA. What are we in here? Are these the quarterfinals now? Yeah, the quarterfinals of this 7AA tournament. So we're going to Hermantown tomorrow, scheduled for a 5:15 pregame with a 5:30 tip. It might start a little later. I'm just going to put the warning shot out about that right now. But, of course, coverage of Staples-Motley sports, as always, on AM 1430 and 98.5 FM The Fan.
The Fan. The chaos. Obviously, we want Staples-Motley to win because we're covering them. But also, this is the added layer on top. The chaotic part of my brain kind of wants them to win because if they do it, that means that they would play again, and that would be on the 12th, which is a Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. tip-off from Romano Gymnasium at UMD's campus. So that would mean Corey would have to make another haul up there, except this time it would be on a weeknight.
That's fine. What are you going to do? If you're going to have to go all the way over there for a game, it might as well be for a section semifinal, Right,
exactly. And also that means Corey's going to take the morning off the next day. So for him,
or it's going to be the most tired morning show you've ever heard in your entire life.
It's going to be Corey ends the morning show at 9:00 so we can go to bed.
Yeah, because that's the late game. That's the 7:30 on whatever night of the. What'd you say on a Wednesday night?
Wednesday,
or yeah, 7:30 start over there in Duluth.
Up in Duluth, yeah, up in Duluth. It's up on the hill, You gotta go up there. All right.
By the way, that at UMD. It's a cool gym.
It's a very nice gym in Romano Gym. I actually never got to go into their gym because COVID for a lot of when I was living in Duluth.
Oh, sure.
When they had games, there weren't exactly spectators in that one because they canceled the rest of the 2020 season. They didn't get to play much in 2021. And what they did was in front of no fans. So and I didn't get to cover them as media. So that was lame. But yeah, it's a super nice gym up there from watching live streams and hearing people talk about it. It's a really unique campus up there on the hill for those. I got to go into the College of St. Scholastica gym though. So I got you there.
The St. Scholastica Schollies, what's their nickname?
I think they're just the Saints.
I was just trying to take use the rules of the other MIAC teams. The St. John's Johnnies, the St. Ben's Bennies. I know they're not in there anymore, but the St. Thomas Tommies.
They are the St. Scholastica Saints.
Oh, okay.
So, I guess.
Can I, you know what? I know we want to talk about your game, but can I just very quickly say something? And I don't want you to take this personally because this is a thing that your alma mater does also. I think we need to be done with the catchphrase, roll whatever your mascot is. I think we need to be done with this.
I think
on more than one college campus recently, and I'm active on social media, and I am getting sick of seeing hashtag roll whatever your college is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm done with Roll Tide. I'm done with Roll Beeves. I was just at Concordia. They had Roll Cobbs. Like, get the hell out of here. You're corn.
Blame Alabama.
Roll Tide is cool. We're talking about elephants here. That makes sense to me. War elephants. Elephants used for war. That's what we're talking about here. Roll makes sense. When you start issuing this to a big, giant swimming rat and a vegetable, I'm done.
Technically, it's a starch, I think.
I'm done. I'm done with it.
See, at least with ours, we like to use the roll dam beeves, DAM. So at least you shove the pun in there.
You can say at least all you want. I hate it.
Now, the phrase is onward now for some of them. It's like onward, comma, whatever. Which again, it's evolving. Language is evolving.
Yeah, but catchphrases are devolving into everybody just saying the same thing.
That's also true. Now, St. Thomas does it. They do roll toms all the time.
Hashtag we, not me. Shut up and play basketball.
Hey, family.
Unity.
Blame the Fast and the Furious franchise for the family one. Family.
Yeah, we there's no I in team, so let's just try to play off that. I get it. I am for this. Like, I am for narrowing down your catchphrase into something that is like
a bumper sticker slogan,
like a rallying. I'm down for a rallying cry and a thing the thing you can like work around. I'm down for that. Roll Cobbs is stupid.
That being said, Roll Hornets is what Zeke's going to be telling you tomorrow with Henning and Parker Christian.
Oh, my clarification is if your school does it, it's perfect.
It's perfect and it's great, and he has no problems with it whatsoever. Park Christian, Falcons, Henning, Hornets, 2-3 matchup. These two teams met a year ago, Corey, where Henning was able to get the victory at this level in the subsection tournament. Both these teams are pretty darn good. Yeah. Henning is the 3 seed with a 24-3 record, 9-0 in the section, 14-0 in the conference, and 10-0 on the road, 2-3 in neutral site games, 12-0 on their home floor. Insane, the season that Henning has been able to put together this season. Their QRF is 102.8 as they take on the Park Christian Falcons, who are 23-4 on the season, 14-2 in Section 6A. They're 11-2 in the Pine to Prairie Conference, 13-1 on the road, 10-2 at home, 0-1 in neutral site games. They have a QRF of 100.4, so I'm not quite sure in the seeding how Henning got the 3, Park Christian got the 2. It really doesn't matter because they would have ended up having to play each other anyways in this setup. But Henning is going in. They have won a bunch. Their last loss came on February 15th when they went to play Hankinson at Moorhead. That was a 91-87 loss for that team. They also lost to Nevis 63-57. They lost to Morris area, Chicoyo, Alberta 69-63 back in December. And those are their losses on the year. That's it. Those are the 3. For Park Christian, they have losses against West Central area 71-64, Fertile Beltrami 46-44, Ada Borup West 55-43, and Pelican Rapids 59-54. So this is a team that's no slouch either. The Falcons beat Norman County East Ulen Hitterdal 75-49 last night. Henning got the win over Underwood 67-29 to close out the regular season. They got a win, but then this is their first win of the playoffs here, 67-29, that score, to set up this matchup with Park Christian. A lot of good athletes, a lot of good scores. It's just going to be a good one. There is no other way to say it. It is going to be it's not the nightcap, but it is the second of 2 games going on at the Hive in Perham. The other matchup will be West Central area as they take on in their matchup, and as they take on Hillcrest Lutheran Academy. So the winner gets to play the winner of that game at the Hive on Wednesday night, 7:00 tip-off. But tomorrow, it is a 2:30 pregame, 2:45 tip-off on the Superstation K-106, 105.9 FM, streaming online at WadenaRadio.com or the Superstation K-106 mobile app. Zeke Foreman on the call tomorrow from the Hive. It's going to be a really, really nice game. There's no other way to put it, Corey.
Morning Sports Desk. It's going to be a fun one.
Going to be a fun one.
Roll MSD. We got all these t-shirt ideas that we need to do. We need to have MSD shirts in all of our state team colors that say there's always next year.
Uh-huh.
Okay. We need to have it's going to be a fun one. And we need to have maybe we need to have a roll MSD or something.
Roll MSD. And also the I'm hooked on MSD. That's also
hooked on MSD.
I'm addicted to MSD.
The government gave me MSD.
Let's talk about the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena, Corey.
Yes, please. Let's do it. Did you know that today's Friday, but on Thursdays they have wing night at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena? They do boneless and traditional wings. Are you a boneless wing guy or a bone-in wing guy?
I give love to either side. I can do both. I got no preference. But if I'm like at a restaurant and I don't want to get my hands real dirty, I do partake in the boneless wings. But if somebody says we're out, you have to go traditional, I'm like, that's fine. Load them up.
Yeah. Oh, shucks. Right. This is what I like to do. If I'm going to get extra saucy with it, I want bone in.
Yes.
But if there's a good dry rub, like a lemon pepper or something like that. Oh, I love me a good lemon pepper on a boneless. That's pretty darn good to me too. And Pizza Ranch in Wadena will offer you up boneless or traditional wings with tons of different sauces. By the way, amazing fries at the Pizza Ranch as well. Throw those on the plate and you are off and running. Did you know you can order online? You can order for pickup or obviously stop in, take advantage of the buffet at Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Go play some games. Go win some sweet, sweet prizes. Be a Ranch Rewards member. Be a FunZone Rewards member. And you are going to be taken care of at the Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade in Wadena.
All right, Corey, it is time for a Mount Rushmore Friday. And it's where we just, I don't know, we pick a Mount Rushmore, Minnesota sports related. Draymond Green is making his name in the headlines once again. So yesterday on his podcast, he put out there that because Karl Anthony Towns was a scratch against the Warriors on Wednesday night. Now, Draymond on his podcast said it was because he was afraid of playing Jimmy Butler. And he said that's why. He says Cat's too soft to play against Jimmy Butler. And whatever, Draymond's going to say stupid stuff in his podcast. The only problem is, Corey, people listen to that podcast and take what he says as truth because Chris Broussard was on his show on Fox Sports that nobody watches, but still it's on television. And he basically said, oh yeah, Cat missed the game because he didn't want to play Jimmy Butler. Turns out, Corey, Karl Anthony Towns was at the funeral of his girlfriend's aunt who died of cancer.
Nice. Oh, nice. Classy stuff from Draymond and Chris Broussard, as always, who are known as being of all, as far as classy reporting goes, those two have always been real high on that list. Two of the classiest.
It's really great now that Karl Anthony Towns plays for the Knicks because he'll actually get people on the internet to defend him. If he said this a year ago, it's toast. That's just going to be the line. But because he has the New York media apparatus behind him, that'll at least help his cause like a little bit.
Right.
But anyway, this is just to the point of Draymond Green, I mean, is just hated around the league, but especially Timberwolves.
Been playing against Jimmy Butler for 3 years now.
And by the way, Corey, when was the last time Jimmy Butler played at the Target Center?
Jimmy Butler bowed out of playing against the Timberwolves. Mucho. He
has not played at the Target Center since he wore a Timberwolves uniform.
Yeah, because he's the coward.
He is a coward with a great PR team, and that's why nobody ever calls him a coward. Jimmy Butler sucks, which again, Draymond Green, Jimmy Butler, take your pick. It's
made in a-hole heaven.
It is. And by the way, Corey, the last time Cat played the Heat when Jimmy Butler was on the Heat, he scored 44 points in Miami. Shut up, Draymond Green. My goodness. Anyway, Cat's not on my team anymore. I don't need to defend him that hard. He's got New York to do that.
I'm not defending Cat. I am calling Draymond a DB.
I like how you full on said a swear word yesterday, but you hold back at DB.
Well, DB was funnier. The full on swear word yesterday was funnier, and the abbreviated version today felt funnier.
That's fair. So it's Mount Rushmore Day of sports hate. Corey, as you said when I told you this was going to be the topic today, you said you got a lot of sports hate in you.
That's
in your bones.
Inside me all the time.
Now, we should clarify before we start this list. This does not mean like a personal hate, wish for bad things to actually happen to you.
Correct.
This is a sports hate, which is in this realm of sport, I hate your guts and want nothing good to happen to you.
It has no effect on real life.
Yes.
None whatsoever. It's we use sports emotions all the time. Sports sad. Things make me sports sad. They don't make me really sad. I have a life and lots of things going on that are very good in my life, and other things that make me very happy or very sad or very angry, whatever. This is sports hate. There's no significant life altering things happening here. I just enjoy rooting against this person or organization.
If you saw Draymond Green down the street for whatever reason, you wouldn't like walk up and be like, I hate your guts, man. I just want you to know that. That's not, you just like, oh, that's Draymond Green. That's pretty cool.
No, I would love to meet Draymond Green. As a matter of fact, I would have nothing like, I would meet everybody on. That'd be cool. It'd be cool to meet all of these people. And then because I would also tell them, like, you need to know that as far as sports goes, I sports hate your guts because you personally offended, or you sports offended my favorite team and me
a lot.
I would love that'd be a really fun. Would be a really fun conversation to have with those people.
Right. Exactly. So here we go. All right, Corey, our Mount Rushmore of sports hate. I'm going to go first. I think this just needs to be said so we can get out of the way. Typically, this is personalities. Like, typically, it's people you think of. But I'm going to use an all-encompassing umbrella to cover a lot of people that could be on the list potentially, and that's the Green Bay Packers.
Yep. No, they're the first thing I wrote down, too.
Yeah. So good. We got that established. So that encompasses Aaron Rodgers. That encompasses Donald Driver. That encompasses Raji, Kenny Clark, Clay Matthews, Mason Crosby, whoever you want from the like. That's all encompassing. We just loop everybody in with the Packers. We loop their fans in. We loop Lambeau's overratedness. We loop everything about Green Bay into that one, because like there's just, if you were to poll Minnesotans, and they could only direct their sports hate to one entity, it would be the Green Bay Packers.
It's the number one. It's the number one on everybody's list, and it should be. Now, I do want to. There's a small point of clarification. I don't sports hate Brett Favre as a Viking. Love Brett Favre as a Viking. Ryan Longwell, Greg Jennings,
Aaron Jones,
Aaron Jones. Darren Sharper might be.
Darren Sharper. We can actually hate that guy in real life.
I hate that guy, I think, and whatever. But everyone does, even the Packers. So I totally get it. But Brett Favre is a Packer, no chance. Oh, by the way, Brett Favre as a real life person seems pretty sketchy too. So I'm not condoning that. Right? This is we're
in the realm of sports right now.
We are in our umbrella and our safety net and our bubble of sports, and the Packers, as a Minnesota fan, have to be number one on almost everybody's list.
Mm-hmm.
It's for Family Feud. That's the number one answer on the board.
Exactly. So there you go. Okay, so that's both of our number ones. I'm going to my number two. Now, this is a bit of an offshoot, but only because I felt like you were going to get the other guy on this tandem, and I just kind of have my own personal thing. So to stand out, I'm going to say Jonathan Vilma. So Jonathan Vilma led the Saints bounty gate on the players' side of things. Now, obviously, Greg Williams, Sean Payton. Greg Williams was like leading it from the coaching staff. Sean Payton knew it was going on, but Jonathan Vilma was like player number one for leading that. And of course, he was the one who said, going to the sidelines, Favre is out, where's my money? Trying to, again, personally injure Brett Favre, because they were paying their players to knock Brett Favre out of the game. And for whatever reason, the officials were like, no, that was a clean game. And I didn't see anything, even though Brett Favre's ankle was purple the next day. Whatever, not over it. I'm not even going to pretend to be over that one. But Jonathan Vilma, not only that, so he gets no love from me, and that's just on the surface, or that's just the first level. The second level is he's also the worst sports commentator that the NFL has right now on their games. The amount of lack of preparation he has as a guy, every single time he has an annoying voice. He really does. I can't listen to him talk, and everything is just, well, that was a really good play. And you know what? When I play, we made really good plays, and he makes a really good, like, it's just the most surface level. Like Tom Brady got criticized for making surface level critiques, but that's because he was always doing the biggest games and everybody was watching him, and it's his first year broadcasting. Vilma has been doing this now for like 5 seasons and has not gotten any better, has in fact gotten worse. He's found the minimum level of effort he needs to put into that to keep his job, and then he just does that. He is constantly put on the F tier of broadcast and still somehow fails to even be remotely interesting. And yeah, he is Jonathan Vilma. Sports hate that guy a lot.
That is a perfectly adequate answer. My brain goes somewhere else, and I will use the other guy here. But you basically said everything already, so I don't need to like indulge too much more. But the reason I didn't go with Vilma and I'm going with the other guy is because, again, I think these people are smart in real life. But this is we're talking about football players. We're talking about meatheads. We're talking about guys who are told to run through a brick wall and they just go, "Yep." You know what? There's just that football mentality, right? That football brain that exists. And when you are a player, the way you survive is by having that attitude, because otherwise you're putting your body through living hell. It's just a miserable physical existence. So for me, that answer is then Sean Payton for all of the reasons you said. I don't like that. I don't like the smug skull chant mocking fans, and to have that go and immediately backfire is one of the happier sports moments of my entire life. So the Packers and Sean Payton are I think probably 1 and 2 on my list for sure. All the other reasons you laid out perfectly, and I agree with, and it's dirty and cheap, and I just don't condone that.
Yeah, exactly.
Let it happen to my team.
All right, number 3 on my Mount Rushmore list. I mean, we mentioned it earlier. It's got to be Jimmy Butler who makes this list. Draymond Green is annoying, and I thought about putting him on this list, but really, Jimmy just has a much stronger Wolves connection. Obviously, playing with the Wolves, the exit, ruining the legacy of, not ruining the legacy, but did serious damage to Karl Anthony Towns' reputation across the league. Yep. Just by him existing and then trying to play it off all the time like they're friends. And Jimmy Butler, like Anthony Edwards said, the first time he played Jimmy Butler, looked at everybody, oh, he's a fake tough guy. And everybody went, yeah. Yep. Yeah, he is. Everything about Jimmy Butler, I hate. He came in to be the savior who was going to lead the Timber Pups into an era of relevancy. He got there, decided he wanted out, and then not only forced his exit out in one of the most humiliating ways in the NBA, but somehow he got to be the hero in all this because his PR team is good. I'll give him credit on that because his PR team set up the stunt. They set up the Rachel Nichols didn't just happen to be in Minneapolis when that stunt happened. Like, that was planned, that was ready to go, and everything about Jimmy Butler getting this fake tough guy energy, despite the fact, and I know he's been to a couple finals runs, but what happened when both those teams got to the finals? They got absolutely smacked by Western Conference teams. Jimmy Butler hid in a weak Eastern Conference and bore the fruits of it, and basically has forced his way out of every situation. I don't know. I could rant about Jimmy Butler forever, but there is no amount of me that likes Jimmy Butler or even respects Jimmy Butler, really.
So Jimmy Butler's also on my list. We're 3 for 3 so far, because I would put like, I have no issue on my list anyway, having the Packers, and then you do like a Sean Payton, Jonathan Vilma.
Right. Like, you just lump the Saints into that. Yeah. The 09 Saints.
Yeah. Yes. But I'm fine with those two, like, being the representation of it.
Head of it. Yeah.
So the only thing I would add to the Jimmy Butler thing is Tibbs. I would just put Butler and Tibbs on the same line in this whole thing. I do not, I believe wholeheartedly that Tibbs is a basketball mastermind and very, very, very smart, especially when it comes to defensive maneuvering and things like that. But I also believe with my whole heart, one of the things about being a coach is that you have to coach the players you have. And you have to like, the best coaches coach around personalities. And he's not a high school coach. That's not how this works. Your coworkers at the professional level. And that was a very immature approach to approaching the Timberwolves. I don't think he gets credit for getting that team to the playoffs in the way that a lot of people talk about it. They made the playoffs, but like, this New York Knicks team is going to be like a 2 seed again in the East. We're talking about fake wins when it comes to Tom Thibodeau coach teams. His starters, his top 6 guys all play like 43 minutes a game. He just runs them through the wall all the time. Now, I believe in being tough, physically tough, mentally tough, playing when the time is right. But when everybody else is resting and preparing for the long haul, and it's January 16th, and this is just another game in a row where you're playing 6 guys, 40 minutes a game, we can't, you're killing your guys and you're winning these games. Those are fake wins. I don't know how else to describe it. So I would put Jimmy Butler and Tom Thibodeau on the same line with each other, just like Sean Payton and Jonathan Vilma.
Right. Maybe like empty wins. Would that be it? Because like you can score empty, like an empty 40.
Correct.
Yeah, exactly. It's like that. But yeah, I got no problem against
fake wins. They're empty wins. You're padding your stats. It's Russell Westbrook averaging a triple-double. Meanwhile, you watch the entire team and organization box out and clear a lane so that way Russ can just have a ball fall in his lap.
He's got a wide open layup, but he's got a kick to the corner.
It's Angel Reese throwing it off the backboard to get the rebound on the other side. They're empty numbers when it comes to some of these wins.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Tibbs is a great one on there. And I think too, it shouldn't be stated, he also was an executive because he was the president of basketball operations. So not only was he bad at managing people there, he was also bad at managing the front office aspect that he wanted control of and was just bad all around. So
yes,
that bad. All right, last one on my list. And this one may be a bit of surprise to some people, but I got to go back to my roots on this one. I can't overthink it. A-Rod, Alex Rodriguez. Has to be on this list. I know he owns part of the Timberwolves. I know. And I know time heals all wounds. And I know.
You don't hate A-Rod, the owner.
No, exactly. But in terms of Alex Rodriguez, the New York Yankee, and I know he played for other teams, but let's be honest, we all remember him as a Yankee. He was awful. And not only was he awful, because he would dominate the Twins every single time. The walk-off home runs he had in the playoffs, but there's always the one in 2009 regular season. Morneau hits a go-ahead home run in the top of the ninth inning. I remember watching this game, and I was like, here we go. We're going to beat the Yankees today. And Alex Rodriguez comes up with a runner on first and smashes one into the third deck of that joke of a short porch in right field. And it just was quiet. Bramer did not talk for 10 seconds. Like it was the crack of the bat. The ball went up, it landed, and you just hear Bramer go, gone. And then it's just Rodriguez running the bases, which is a perfect way to handle that because it's the like he was good. He was always a thorn in the Twins' side. And on top of that, he was a PED user who denied using PEDs despite credible evidence and just thought he could lie his way through it despite the fact that everybody knew he was lying.
Yeah, he would be what a lot of people describe as the B word. Like he's the guy who tried to slap somebody's glove. He's the guy running base would yell, I got it on a pop-up in the infield, even though he was a base runner, just to try to confuse things. You know what I mean? He was like kind of like what a lot of people think about Kirk Cousins, but also unbelievably talented, like way more talented than Kirk Cousins is at his job. I remember A-Rod as a shortstop with the Mariners, and it was just like Alex Rodriguez is the best shortstop in the game. And that was always the joke when he went to the Yankees. The best shortstop in the game was playing third base for the Yankees. I get the A-Rod hate a lot. However, always had, I like guys who are awesome. I'm a little bit of a front runner that way. And like I root for guys who are the best at their particular profession to be rewarded with moments. Like there's nothing I want more than like Clayton Kershaw to have a one hitter in a World Series game. You know what I mean? Because that guy he's one of baseball's best pitchers ever. And just had, struggled 3 times in a playoff and that's it for him. And that's who he is. And I just don't like that for him. A-Rod's another one of those guys where like, I get all the cheating. I get whatever. A lot of guys cheated. So it doesn't weigh as heavy to me. Doesn't make it less wrong, but there's a leveling of the playing field when that happens.
Everybody's cheating then. Yeah. And you still stand out. Yeah.
Don't always cheat. I mean, don't be cheaters. I'm pro not cheating, which is a weird way to say that.
Cheating.
But if they're all cheating, I don't know what else to do about it. So I always rooted for moments for A-Rod to kind of like not against the Twins, obviously, but like it'd be huge for him to come up with a big hit here. So that way it could justify his career. I like those justifying moments for great players.
Mm-hmm.
And Alex Rodriguez was a great player.
All right. Who's your fourth, Corey?
So I was going to put This is the most disrespectful thing I'm going to say in this entire list. But I'm going to move this spot to an honorable mention before I mention my fourth.
Sure.
It was going to be my fourth. I've moved them to an honorable mention because of their complete and utter laughable irrelevancy to the game of baseball, and that is the Chicago White Sox. I hate the Chicago White Sox. They are, I don't even know what, they're like a double A team. They stink. Their owner's bad. Their fans are annoying. The team is, I just don't like anything that they stand for. But they're so miserable as a baseball team, as a professional baseball team right now, that it feels like bullying. And I'm willing to you know what? I want you to be relevant so I can hate you again for real.
Mm-hmm.
They're just not relevant. It wouldn't be fair. It's not fair to hate on this team that probably wouldn't compete on a AAA schedule.
It's pretty bad for them. Yeah, you don't want to beat up on them when
it's not hyperbolic, right?
No, they are bad.
They are worse than a lot of AAA teams.
It is not looking good for them.
So because of that, I will cherry pick. I've long hated this guy. I don't know why. I cannot pinpoint it other than I just hated his face. And it's Juan Uribe.
Yes.
Juan Uribe is a staple on my sports hate list. I don't get it. I don't understand why he was kind of always good, why he kind of always played better than he should have against the Minnesota Twins. I hated his bleach blonde goatee. I hated that he looked like just this chubby little dude with a huge ass who was playing over at third base or at shortstop. I was like, how is this guy a professional baseball player? There just wasn't a single thing. He just looked smug. He looked mean. He looked, I don't know. I am not a judge a book by its cover kind of guy. That's not who I am. But in the realm of sports, I hated Juan Uribe from the first moment he showed up on my TV screen. And I think it was just, I didn't like his face.
If you're going to sports hate somebody, you just look at it. That's one of the reasons to do it.
It's the most irrational of all of them. I think I could justify the Saints, Peyton and Vilma, and the Packers, and Jimmy Butler and Tibbs. I feel like I can justify those things. I can't come to a single conclusion that is why him of all players. Right. I don't know why. I don't like his face.
Yeah, that's fair. There we go.
It's not fair. That's why it's awesome. Screw you, Uribe.
That's why it's sports hate. Honorable mentions, obviously, if you want to go in the Wolves realm, you could go Jamal Murray. You could go Devin Booker.
Yeah, there's some
Ja Morant.
Recency bias for those guys. Ja's a fun guy to hate.
Mm-hmm.
Ja's a real fun guy to hate. Murray, Booker, all love hating on all of them.
Exactly. In the NFL, Jair Alexander, but although he's kind of messing up his own career in Green Bay, I don't think he's long for the Packers, but he gets encompassed in that Green Bay circle of things.
Seattle, the Seahawks, the Giants, the Atlanta Falcons, all of them all high honorable mentions.
Philadelphia Eagles, that, especially that year. In 2017, but they got blown out so bad it's almost like it didn't even really matter. But yeah, there's a lot of sports hate that way. For the Twins, you could have went Chuck Knobloch. He would have been another one.
See, I'm old enough though where I love Chuck Knobloch. As a Twin, I just loved that guy, and I'm now far enough removed. I hated him as a Yankee, but I'm far enough removed where those warm fuzzies about how good he was for the Twins. That he was one of the guys. It was Kirby Puckett and Chuck Knobloch.
Mm-hmm. AJ Pierzynski is another one that could make the list, but again, it's hard.
I can't hate AJ Pierzynski.
He's done a good after media career or post playing career in media as a podcaster to kind of help his cause and a play by play analyst. He ripped the poll ads, which will get you credibility among the Twins fan base in any day of the week.
He was also an awesome Twin,
right? And he was on the 0-2 team that went to the ALCS. So and his trade set the table to this day.
I mean, the trade not only gave the Twins Francisco Liriano and Joe Nathan and Boof. I think Boof Bonser was involved in that. But if you look at the ramifications, again, Francisco Liriano got traded to the White Sox for Eduardo Escobar. Eduardo Escobar was on the Twins, got traded to the Diamondbacks for who? Joan Duran.
Sure.
AJ Pierzynski trade still lives on to this day, and I find that hilarious.
It's amazing. He was an awesome Twin. I hated that he was on the White Sox because I hated the White Sox.
Right.
But I didn't hate AJ Pierzynski. I didn't hate Jim Thome. I know he was with the White Sox before the Twins, but whatever.
In Cleveland. But yeah, exactly. I didn't hate Jim Thome.
No,
I didn't hate
Mark Burley or Paul Konerko.
I was trying to think of so many White Sox. Alexi Ramirez.
I did hate Alexi Ramirez and Maglio Ordonez.
Well, because he also played for Detroit. That's the other.
Yeah,
I didn't hate Miguel Cabrera. Mainly because the Twins were bad during his peak, but
sure. Jose Abreu, didn't like him.
I didn't like Ryan Braun, but that also, again, Wisconsin athlete, cheating allegations.
Sure, yeah, all that stuff.
Aaron Rodgers betting his contract that he was innocent and then never ended up fulfilling that promise.
Okay. Well, good. He probably wouldn't have had enough money to buy the Timberwolves if he would have. So
yeah, exactly. Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, Aaron Rodgers. That's
Aaron
right.
Rodgers. Yeah. Anyway, so that'll do it. There we go. Good list all around. Who do you sports hate? Let us know in the comments on YouTube or drop it on the Facebook reel that'll end up coming out on Sports Cow. That'll do it. I'm CJ Baumgartner, Corey Tackman, Morning Sports Desk, powered by Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Have a good weekend. See you Monday.
Powered by Wadena's Pizza Ranch and FunZone Arcade. Follow the Morning Sports Desk on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And watch every show on YouTube.